president feels the same today as he did yesterday.
Okay.
Philip.
And on my follow-up on what you had just said.
Go ahead, Philip. Caitlin, I'm not taking your follow-up.
I have a follow-up on something you just said, though, Caroline. That's
Caitlin,
regarding
I'm not
Jeffrey
taking
Goldsberg.
your follow-up. Philip, go ahead. I have called on you.
You know, I heard that someone started flying a plane with a banner that said, this is Trump country. It sure don't look like it today. I don't think this is Trump country. I think this is our country. Because we're not afraid of them anymore, are we?
Well, Karoline Leavitt is having a full-on meltdown after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, popularly known as AOC, just dropped a truth bomb that exposes Donald Trump in a way no one expected. And let's be real, it's not pretty for Karoline. You won't believe how this all went down. Grab your popcorn, because the panic is real and things are about to get hilariously messy. You won't want to miss this political showdown.
Effort. It means Donald Trump, who is the best deal maker on the planet, is going to strike a deal with our partners in the region.
He did not rule out American troops in Gaza last night. Are you doing that now?
I am saying that the president has not committed to that just yet. He has not made that commitment, and you know that.
So why not rule out the idea of committing U.S. troops? Why not rule out troops?
Because I think the president is very good when he's making deals and negotiating, not to rule out anything, because he wants to preserve that leverage. And
we know that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1 if it meant lining his own pockets and greasing the palms of his Wall Street friends.
Karoline Leavitt is in full panic mode, and honestly, watching it unfold is better than any political drama you could find on Netflix. So what happened? Well, let's just say Karoline's precious world of spinning, twisting, and backpedaling got absolutely blown up by none other than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because of course, it had to be AOC. If there's one thing she excels at, it's dropping truth bombs like they're going out of style and watching everyone else scramble for cover.
I hope that we all see now that the White House's tariff shuffle here didn't have anything to do with manufacturing like they claimed. It was about manipulating the markets. It was about hurting retirees and everyday people in the sell-off so Trump could quietly enrich his friends who he nudged to buy the dip before reversing it all in the morning. Donald Trump is a criminal.
Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Karoline Leavitt, you're lucky to be free from her online rants. She's one of Trump's most vocal cheerleaders, a staunch supporter, a proud defender of the Make America Great Again cause, as long as great is code for, well, who knows at this point. But Karoline's got a real talent for making the worst ideas sound like they could somehow be the next big thing. She's like the cheerleader for a losing team, but without the pom-poms or any sense of awareness. Just a whole lot of hope, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German.
But AOC, the woman who knows exactly how to turn the volume up to 11 without ever breaking a sweat, she doesn't just speak. She exposes the messy truth like it's a hobby. So when she unleashed a bombshell about Donald Trump, it was only a matter of time before Karoline found herself sinking faster than the Titanic. I mean, you'd think by now Karoline would be used to the whole exposed and humiliated routine, but no. She acted like she was blindsided. This time, though, it wasn't just Trump getting hit with the truth. It was Karoline's entire defense system crumbling before her very eyes.
To make himself rich, as well as the billionaires who scratch his back and the members of Congress who trade with him. But he's not there for you or for us or for the working people of Montana, not one bit. And to be clear, I don't even care what party you are, Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter what position one holds. Members of Congress holding and trading individual stock is wrong.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe. Let's rewind a little bit and give some context. AOC is always a few steps ahead, so while Karoline was out there playing her little defense game, AOC came out of nowhere with a nuclear-level revelation about Trump. No, this wasn't just another rant about his hair or his very stable genius credentials. No, this was a real truth bomb. Something about Trump that's been hiding in plain sight for far too long. Like the most awkward skeleton in the closet that Trump desperately wished was still in there, tucked away where no one could see it. And then, boom, AOC pulled that skeleton out, waved it around for all to see, and just casually mentioned it. That's all it took. Just one tweet, one statement. And suddenly, Karoline is losing it like someone just swapped her coffee for decaf. You could literally see her panic setting in. The woman tried to play it cool, but it's hard to be cool when you're holding a garbage fire in both hands and your only plan is to pretend it's not burning down everything in its path. So what did Karoline do? Oh, you're going to love this. She immediately went on the defensive. The classic GOP move. Deflect, deflect, deflect. She started talking about everything except the issue at hand.
Despite what many Democrats and media members want you to believe, the Trump agenda is not only necessary, but it is overwhelmingly popular. Why? Because it's driven by common sense.
AOC's truth bomb? Nah, let's talk about, I don't know, Democrats being bad at something random like taxes or not being Trump. Just typical spin, really. Karoline threw out a whole bunch of sound bites to distract the public. You've heard them all before. AOC's just trying to cause division. Trump's a fighter. Don't back down. And the best one yet? Well, what about Hunter Biden? Because apparently pointing at the other side's issues magically fixes your own, right? Sure. But here's the thing. Karoline's usual go-to arguments weren't cutting it this time. This wasn't just about Trump being This was something new. Something that exposed him for something far worse than we could have imagined. And while Karoline was scrambling to put a Band-Aid on her sinking ship, AOC was standing there like a kid who just finished a puzzle and was getting all the praise for doing the bare minimum. Karoline, however, didn't seem to understand that the whole world had already read the fine print. The public didn't want to hear the same tired excuses about Trump being misunderstood or misquoted. They wanted answers, real answers, and Karoline didn't have any.
The spoils of that kind of corruption and billions of dollars are not earned. They are stolen. Just look at what Elon and Trump are doing to our health care, our veterans benefits, and Social Security. They are slashing the programs that we have spent a lifetime paying into. By the way, not them, because they haven't paid their fair share in taxes in years.
In fact, you could practically hear her grinding her teeth as the story started to snowball. What did she do next? Oh, she tried to double down. Classic Karoline move. When the truth is inconvenient, just say it louder and more often, right? Wrong. I mean, did she actually think anyone would believe her when she said, well, Trump's been a great leader and he definitely didn't do that thing AOC just exposed? Come on, Karoline. Are we all supposed to ignore the fact that every time Trump gets caught doing something, you and your allies go into a full-on panic mode? At some point, it just gets embarrassing. But then AOC hit her with the follow-up. You could almost see the smirk on AOC's face as she just watched Karoline dig herself into a hole so deep it was going to take a lot more than some Fox News sound bites to cover it up. AOC, staying cool as ever, dropped more facts, more specifics, just to drive the nail further into the coffin. And what did Karoline do? She tried to laugh it off, acting like it was no big deal, like AOC hadn't just completely eviscerated her hero in front of everyone. Oh, Karoline. It's like trying to pretend you didn't just spill coffee all over your pants when there's a giant puddle forming at your feet.
And this Judge Boasberg, is a Democrat activist. He was appointed by Barack Obama. His wife has donated more than $10,000 to Democrats, and he has consistently shown his disdain for this president and his policies, and it's unacceptable.
You're right where I wanted to go about the idea that these people are all foreign terrorists, but Judge Boasberg was originally appointed by George W. Bush and then elevated by Barack Obama. I just feel like I should clear that up.
Well, let me just say something to that effect, Garrett. 67% of all of the injunctions in this century have come against which president?
And then came the media. Oh boy. The moment Karoline realized the public wasn't buying her deflections, that's when it all went downhill. Talk shows and pundits, everyone were all over her. People started calling her out left and right. Her desperate attempts to defend Trump began to sound less like a politician and more like a person frantically trying to change the subject at a family dinner after everyone realizes they're not getting the inheritance anymore. The more she tried to spin the story, the more she got tangled in her own web. It's a classic case of you had one job, Karoline, and you absolutely screwed it up. And let's not forget the most delicious part of all of this, Karoline's desperate attempts to reclaim the narrative by attacking AOC. Oh sure, that's always the best move, isn't it? Attack the person who just eviscerated your entire argument. Real classy, Karoline. She came at AOC with the usual insults. She's just a socialist. She's out of touch with reality. But everyone saw right through it. The truth was out there, and no amount of name-calling was going to change that. As Karoline floundered in her own mess, AOC just sat back, clearly enjoying every second of it.
This is America. We demand our rights. We demand our freedoms, our due process, and we don't just point a finger and lock someone up without their day in court. Never. And we demand this because we do have power in this moment. All of us do.
And why wouldn't she? AOC knew she had won this round. She had outsmarted Karoline at every turn, and by the time Karoline realized it was too late to backtrack, AOC was already off to the next issue, leaving Karoline behind in the dust. It's a hard thing to accept when you've been so wrong that you can't even scramble your way out of it. Now, as we stand here, Karoline's out here making vague, desperate attempts to rebuild her reputation. She's showing up on TV interviews, trying to act like she didn't just get exposed in the most public way possible. But we all know the truth. The moment AOC dropped that bomb, Karoline's political career got a whole lot harder. And you know what? The funniest part of all this is that Karoline's still trying to put on a brave face, like we all don't know exactly what's happening behind that tight smile. So, what have we learned here? Well, for one thing, Karoline Leavitt is not cut out for handling the truth. She's great at pretending it's not there, though, until someone like AOC comes around to shine a spotlight on it. And as for Trump, well, he's still the same. He's always been the same. The only thing that's changed is that now Karoline's left holding the bag, looking like a deer caught in the headlights. The truth has a funny way of catching up with people, doesn't it?
Trust in President Trump. He knows what he's doing. This is a proven economic formula. Every day, the president is signing executive orders to cut regulation, especially when it comes to Environmental Protection Agency, our energy industry. That's going to unleash the economic boom in this country that we saw in the president's first.
Are you all ready for this fight? Yeah! You all ready to lock in? Yeah! We are not giving up this country without a fight. Isn't that right? We will not give up on our people and the institutions and the programs and the services that help people live their lives without a fight. So if they want us to go down, they should know we are not going down without the biggest fight they have ever seen.
So what happens when you're Karoline Leavitt and you've just been utterly obliterated by AOC in front of the entire world? You'd think after an event like that, Karoline would take a moment to, I don't know, regroup, reflect, maybe hire a PR team to do some heavy lifting, but instead, Karoline attempts what can only be described as a valiant effort to rebound from the disaster. And when I say valiant, I mean in the same way a drowning person flails at the air hoping someone will toss them a life raft that's actually made of solid reasoning. Spoiler alert, it's not. Her recovery efforts? A mixed bag of desperation and, well, more desperation. Karoline went on a media blitz, popping up on every platform she could find, trying to act like nothing ever happened. But it's hard to pretend you didn't just get body slammed in public when every TV screen in America is showing exactly how bad it was. She tried to shake it off. Maybe if she smiled harder, maybe if she squinted really hard, no one would notice the political apocalypse unfolding behind her. A few public appearances here, a couple of tweets there, but the more Karoline tried to play it cool, the more she looked like a deer in headlights. Only it wasn't a truck. It was AOC's fiery truth, and it wasn't stopping anytime soon. It didn't take long for the media to realize that Karoline wasn't exactly the real story. Her nervous attempts at moving on became the headline, rather than her political views.
I will say the clever thing of what Donald Trump and what the right tries to do is make working people like you and me feel like we're just one step away from being inside that club. That maybe one day we will be a billionaire too. Any billionaires here? I didn't think so. Yeah. But here's the thing.
People weren't talking about her stance on issues. Nope. They were talking about how she was visibly sweating, stumbling over her words, and generally giving off the vibes of someone who just got hit by a ton of bricks. And those bricks were labeled AOC's unrelenting facts. To make matters worse, Karoline started showing up in places like Fox News with the sort of desperate, forced confidence you get from someone who's just been publicly humiliated but is trying to convince you their mascara is still absolutely perfect. Now, while Karoline was fighting her losing battle with reality, there was one person who was thriving in this moment: Donald Trump's reputation. Well, it's safe to say it took a hit. The whole AOC exposé's Trump thing was a blow, and try as Karoline might to polish the Trump brand, the man himself was sitting back, watching it all fall apart like some sort of reality TV show. Karoline could scream from the rooftops, post all the retweets she wanted, but at the end of the day, Trump's reputation was already smeared, and no amount of spin was going to clean that up. The public wasn't buying it. Trump's image was tarnished, again, and Karoline just became the unlucky soul trying to mop up the mess with a handkerchief.
So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise that the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap. Eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners. Close the carried interest tax deduction loophole. Tax cuts for Made in America.
Meanwhile, AOC, she was off in the distance, untouched, untouchable. There she was, striding forward like the cool, calm, collected political mastermind she is, looking like she just got a Starbucks and was walking down the street while Karoline was still stuck on a broken carousel ride of shame. AOC didn't need to say much. She was literally letting Karoline do the work for her. Every time Karoline flailed, AOC just sat back, sipped her coffee, and let the public shift their focus to someone who wasn't panic-stricken, someone who didn't need to spin the narrative. AOC, with her unfazed poise, continued to rise while Karoline was buried under the weight of her own defense mechanisms. And just like that, the public wasn't just paying attention to the exposed truth. They were watching Karoline drown in the attempt to rescue a sinking ship. AOC took the lead, and Karoline? Well, Karoline was still trying to figure out how to float, one desperate appearance at a time.